Have you ever stopped, like really stopped, to look at a coin? Not just to check the date, not just to see if maybe it has silver content, but to look at it. The faces, the figures, the symbols, etched in maybe nickel or steel, if we're lucky, silver, copper, the various metals. From the very beginning of civilization, coins were more than money. They were canvases. They were a message. They were a shared image carried in the hands of millions. Take ancient Greece. Alexander the Great didn't need a printing press. He didn't need social media. His face on a coin carried his legend farther than any general ever could. Rome knew it too. Emperors etched their power into bronze and silver, binding their rule to the daily exchange of bread and wine. And through coins, even today, we can hold in our hand a tiny echo of our collective history. That is the art of coins. They don't just buy, they often speak. They tell a collective story. They connect a people, or maybe they capture a moment. But fast forward to today, and what do we see? Presidents, repeated endlessly, stock eagles, shields, which are functional, we can all agree that. And yes, they do spend to buy things, even though in today's society, we go digital more than textual and tangible. But do they inspire like they used to? Do they make you pause and reflect on the weight of an image in your palm? What if we demanded more of our coins? What if coins once again were display level art, worthy of not just stacking in tubes, but of framing on a wall? What subjects would you choose? Would it be cultural heroes, landscapes, maybe our collective triumphs, or our collective tragedies? Would coins become miniature museums, tiny works of art passed hand to hand? And what size, what quality would justify sitting on your bookshelf? Would they be as bold as a silver dollar of old? Or as intimate as a dime? Would they gleam in high relief with every detail telling a story that lingers? If coins could be art more primarily than currency, would we be willing to pay more for it? Would we accept a premium because they didn't just sit in a safe, but in a frame or a display case, in your living room, commanding attention the way a painting might on a wall? What would that look like? What would that price point be? And what are the things that you would define as worthy of a premium for something like that? Because here's the truth. Coins can be art. They always have been. They always will be. The level of degree is subjective. They remind us of who we are, where we've been, and of course, where we're going. So the next time you hold a coin, ask yourself, does it tell a story, or is it just a token of exchange? And if it doesn't inspire, should it? Because after all, it's the most handled art form in human history. So my question is to you, what is it that would be on a coin if it was well done and maybe in a particular size that you would look at it and say, you know what? I think that would go on my bookshelf. I think that would sit very, very well as a display piece somewhere in my house, or maybe as a gift for a loved one. I have examples here of coins that do tell a story, that do understand a image of time where the human experience has been collected. Check out this Australian coin, for example. Beautiful, of course. We want it to be. But it tells a story, and the people of this part of Australia identify significantly with the imagery. Gorgeous, well done piece of art, different level. If you go to South Africa, one of the most common coins in bullion, here is our beautiful Krugerrand. Obviously a scene, where's Paul Kruger right there, a scene that in many ways unites South Africa in a way that is beautiful because it's such a place currently where uniting is needed. Maybe something like this from our past. The peace dollar. Art Deco period. We had beautiful, beautiful art in this period. And we have here liberty, which, though we see it as a person, a scholar would think of it more as an idea with Lady Liberty. And we have the eagle at rest, reminding us of the Great World War being at a close. So the eagle was at peace. Beautiful examples. Maybe something more intricate like this zurong. Super high relief. Tells an ancient story. So these are all ideas, pieces of art that tell stories of people, of collectives, of the human experience. The question is, what would you want if you needed a piece for your bookshelf? If you wanted a display piece that told a story, what are the elements that you would think are appropriate? Maybe it would be something that has to do with our nation. Maybe it would be 9/11. Maybe it would be cool bridges of the United States or skylines of cities of this land that were sitting on a 10-ounce coin or something along this size. Maybe it's a 5-ounce that's been stamped wide. Maybe it's rectangular. I don't know. Here's another example here. This is a 2-ounce spear, silver and gilded. For religious folks, this is the Holy Lance. But I want to know what it would be. What would be the imagery that would demand a premium for you? What is a theme, an element that you would say, you know what? I would pay $150 or $300 for something that would be a display piece that I would know I would look at and I would gain something each time I looked upon it, and that anybody that came to my house would see it and say, wow, that's cool. Tell me about that. Let me know what that is, because I'm very, very interested. And if I ever am in the room with people that can have conversations and that lead to those elements, I would love to know that. Here's another example that just pops out. Because this is a world classic art piece, this is Hokusai's Great Wave from the 150 scenes from Mount Fuji, done in the Edo period of Japan, where they, for a very long time, basically locked down their borders, no one in, no one out, and they were able to develop their own culture because of it, which is completely unique from the rest of the world. So that's a very interesting example. Imagine this scene in a 10-ounce coin. So that being said, these are the things that keep me up at night. What would it be that strikes you in a place where you say, you know what, I would be willing to pay a premium for those items, and I would love to have some display pieces around my house to look at, to honor, to cherish, that type of thing. So that's what I want to know from you. Let me know down in the comments. And as always, please remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.